meeting is being recorded.
Yeah, hi, folks.
Oh, wait, Joe, wait. Okay. Joe Mato grew up in Danbury next to the Maybrook line.
I'll tell him that.
His interest in the railroad started when he was 3. He would ask Mom if he could walk down to wave at the man in the caboose when the train went by. Mom said yes, and he ran down the hill and waved at the man. Many years later, Joe came across some of the guys who worked in the caboose in Maybrook. These guys started the Maybrook Railroad Historical Society in Orange County, New York. That was when he started going to Maybrook. He would spend hours long after the museum hours and talk to the guys. He never pursued a career in the railroad, but he would become a commercial airline pilot. After he stopped flying, he volunteered at the Danbury Railway Museum, and later on, he fired at Essex or the Valley Railroad. He also volunteered at Steamtown in Scranton, Pennsylvania for 3 years. In 2005, Joe and Bernie started the CNE bus tour, the Central New England bus tour. They would show people a segment of the CNE Railroad at a time. In 2016, Bernie died, and the tour continued until COVID. Joe would continue to give talks and presentations on the railroad topic, and he remains active in research. Without further ado, I am going to turn the screen and share the screen on the presentation. 1 second. 1 second.
Tell me when.
Not yet.
Yeah, today is the 79th anniversary of the Battle of the Bulge. I know a lot of you fellows have uncles that were in that, so I just wanted to bring it up.
Okay.
Rose kind of told you the story, so basically that's how I got involved in Maybrook. I grew up next to it. I didn't know what it was. All I knew was it was awesome. And that's just when the diesels came in. We had a steam engine one day, and I thought it was alive. You know, I never saw anything like it. Okay, go ahead. Okay, the yard was first set up in 1889, and they bought 1,000 acres. The Central New England did, and it was sold to the New Haven in 1904. It was originally called Orange Junction, and I think the New Haven wanted something fancier than that, so they came out with Maybrook. And Maybrook wasn't really the town's legal name until 1925. Go ahead. We were going to talk a little bit about the Poughkeepsie Bridge first, because you can't have the yard without the museum, or excuse me, without the bridge. And let's see. They started work on the bridge in 1873, and there was a panic that year, and it got pushed off. And Harvey Eastman, who was the mayor of Poughkeepsie, was instrumental in getting the bridge going. And unfortunately, he died.
Are you showing pictures?
Not yet. I'm going to.
Not yet. Okay.
Oh, can you see the presentation?
all I see is Maybrook, the Getaway to New England, sponsored by the Maybrook Railroad. That's what okay, that now I see. Oh,
Let us just stop the sharing and redo it again. I'm glad somebody mentioned that. Okay. Let me know if you lose the sharing, okay?
okay.
Okay, we need to put this in. Stop scare sharing again.
That's a good early picture. And
Hold on, Joe. Just give me
Wait,
one.
there's no picture.
Joe, just give me 1 second. Let me just share it. Now we're sharing it. Can everybody see the picture?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, we have to move back. Instead of talking about the Maybrook Yard, now we have to talk about the Poughkeepsie Bridge. So allow me, I'm going to bring back Poughkeepsie Bridge, Maybrook screen later. So now it's what you see here from current slide. Okay. Okay. Joe.
okay, that was the bridge as it was originally thought of. And you see the masonry piers go up about 90 feet. And it's a truss bridge. It was made out of iron. And what happened from the time they started in 1873 till 15 years later when it was finished is steel came in. And with steel, you could do a lot more. And you'll see in a minute. This we went over. The bridge was dead for about 8 years. And they finally got it going in 1888. The foundations are 50 feet by 100 feet. And they're just awesomely big. You can see on the edge where it's pointed down, that's jackhammered in. And the idea is to get through the sand and the clay and down to the solid gravel. Okay. They only built one truss at a time. And at this point, they went to the metal trusses, which you can see on the edge or all the way down. And that's a wooden pounded into the underlayment. They could only do one section at a time. So they would build a truss like this. And they go on farther, take this down, put it on the other side. There were 2 trusses and 3 cantilevers. That's the truss there. And they're working out from the tops basically to build the cantilevers.
Joe, we seem to be stuck on slide 7 at the moment. Is that what you intend?
No. What is okay?
What?
You are stuck on slide 7. Okay, we gotta stop sharing. Oh, okay. It looks like there's a little hiccup here. What's going on? Start sharing again. Windows. Share. Okay. Okay. Can anybody see? Can everybody see slide 12?
Yes.
What's the
Yes.
slide, Chris?
Yes, we can see slide 12.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
So you want me to go back to slide 7? Is that what happened?
That's where we were stuck. So we have seen nothing after 7.
You have seen this.
We saw plenty of slide 7.
Okay, what about this on the chart, on the timeline?
Yeah, we can see slide 8.
Okay,
It's not in presentation mode though, or slideshow mode.
okay. I have to bring it back to set up slideshow. From current slide. Okay, so right now we're on slide 8. Everybody sees this?
Yep,
Yes.
the timeline.
Good. I'm moving to slide 9 now, okay? So Joe explained about the timeline, right?
Yeah.
Did everybody see this?
Yes.
Yes, you can go to 9 now.
Okay. Okay, this is where we left off. Joe, continue.
And that's one of the trusses after it's finished. And they're starting to work on the cantilevers. Go ahead. There's another picture working on the cantilever.
We're still seeing slide 8.
I don't know what slide it is.
Okay, that's weird. You're still seeing. Oh, okay.
There you go.
Okay, so you are still seeing this slide. That's fine.
That's like, what?
Slide 12. Can you see slide 12?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, good. I think there is an issue here because every time I put it on, automatic presentation mode, it doesn't seem to work. So I may have to go back to my PowerPoint, to my setup. Is that okay? It
That's
seems.
okay.
I think that's okay. At least we can get through this. Okay, Joe, continue.
Yeah, that's a picture of the I believe it's the west side. And you can see the bridging underneath and building the cantilevers on the right side. It was pretty amazing at the time. They never built a steel bridge before this size. Go ahead. Another picture.
Okay.
Bridging the gap. And that's a picture when it was completed. You see this, the steel supports. That saved probably a month rather than building the masonry ones. Okay.
We are on slide 14. Everybody's with us?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Okay, now 14.
Seems to be working now.
Okay. Okay, now we have to go back to Maybrook. Joe, we need to go back to Maybrook. I'm sorry. Okay, okay. Now from current slide, I'm going to try to see if this works. Okay, Joe, go ahead.
So when they finished the bridge in December of 1888, there was no railroad. And they started work on the railroad out to Campbell Hall. And it's 25 miles long. And they had it active in about 6 months. They had the first passenger train in May, and it took a couple months to get the telegraph set up and everything ballasted right. And they had the first coal train in August. And it went out to someplace in Massachusetts, and local people weren't happy because they had the first dibs on the coal. Okay.
Okay, now it's slide 4. Everybody still with us?
Yes, but we're stuck on slide 2 again.
Ah,
Slide 2 here also.
okay,
Yep, slide 2.
okay. Okay, so
That's-
I know the problem. Every time I try to put it on automatic, it doesn't work. It's okay.
We'll do it manually.
Yeah, we have to do it manually at this point. Okay, so slide 4, everybody.
Dear, we're not
No,
we're
we're
not
not
that
slide
far
4.
yet.
Okay, slide 2. Slide 3, I'm sorry. Slide 3.
Yeah, see side 3.
Okay, so the Central New England operated the Maybrook and surrounding area, and it was bought out by the New Haven Railroad in 1905. And the New Haven wasn't happy with the name Orange Junction. So that's how Maybrook came in through their advertising. And they double tracked the route and made it a heavy gauge, straightened it out. And also they modified the bridge and they made it stronger. And they gave it what was called a gauntlet, where they put the rail in the center of the bridge. So that way the stress would be less. And this was to allow for the heavier L1 210 power that came in 1918. There were 6 railroads at least that interchanged at Maybrook. The Erie ran 4 trains a day. DL and W ran a couple trains, and they also passed a couple to the LNHR at Port Morris. The O&W ran 2 trains a day, and they ran out of either Coxton or Cuyahoga Junction in Scranton. The L and NE ran 1 train daily, and that was basically their coal, cement, and goods they had. The New York Central interchange through the Wallkill Valley and the Erie Montgomery branch. And what really made it was the fact that all these little railroads were working together, because you couldn't compete against the New York Central that was so big unless you had an edge. And their edge was getting there faster. So what they would do is they banded up in 1892, right after the yard was established, and they established the Central States Dispatch, with 8 railroads contributing men and equipment. And what they would do is they wouldn't like just run to a line. They go to the best place to pass the train on. And they did that. They ran on trackage rights. And that worked out really well. There was a Central States Dispatch, and the B&O in Western Maryland ran that. There was a Southern States Dispatch with the Norfolk and Western, and a Blue Ridge Dispatch that was run by the C&O. In 1931, an agreement was reached to they got the routing to Connellsville complete, and they could run what they call the alphabet route. And you can see the different letters from all the different railroads. The nickel plate, Wheeling and Lake Erie, Pittsburgh and West Virginia, Western Maryland, Reading, Central Jersey, LNHR, and New Haven. Go ahead.
Okay. So now we're going to skip the Poughkeepsie Bridge because we already explained that. Now we are back to Maybrook. Okay, can everybody see this slide? Crossing.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Where the fellow is, just before the freight yard,
Here's the
Cards.
fellow. Can everybody see this? He's
that's
standing
where Main
there.
Street was.
Yeah.
And later they put a tunnel underneath it. The old depot was right here.
Right here.
And when a passenger train came in, they would run on the edge of the yard
Oh.
and avoid all the yard commotion. Go ahead.
Next slide. Okay.
That's the old roundhouse that was in use till 1912. It had 6 bays. Those guys are called the Petties. Go ahead. And that's a picture of the work in 1914. And in the middle, you can see the administration building. And up here is the ice house. On the top is the eastbound hump over here. They sorted the cars out, makeup trains to go eastbound. Construction of the roundhouse in 1912. All new and shiny. Administration building. Then the YMCA. We're actually located in the old gym of the YMCA,
The current museum, yeah.
the current museum. Now, this is an ice house that used ice that came from ponds. They didn't have mechanical refrigeration yet. And they could work 20 cars at a time, maybe 150 cars a day.
Hmm.
Right.
Flo, how much time is left on the timer? Okay.
What do you say?
Oh, is there any questions?
No, please go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the storage tracks near the car barn. This is the westbound departure yard looking towards you. Okay. Those lights are still there. They never took them down.
The yard light.
Okay. a 27 stall roundhouse.
Wow.
A giant car repair shop. Whiting hoist. That was a big deal. Okay. Just go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. And the big building is the, oh, that one. Yeah, that's the maintenance building. I was talking about the coal tipple. That's Walter Griffin, and he's moving the LNHR train. Go ahead. Okay. They had to water the stock, so they'd get out of the car, and they water them. They get barrels of water and give them food. They did that with the circus. Ringling Brothers went through there, and they have all the elephants and camels out. It's really something. That's the coal tipple again, and you see the sand dryer in front of it. Maybrook was about 3 miles long and a half-mile wide. They had about 100 something tracks, and at one time it was the biggest yard in the East. It was also a hump yard. They used the humps for moving the cars around. Okay. Go ahead. This is the entrance from Campbell Hall. The ONW had its own entrance, and normally people came off the Erie and they turned into Maybrook from the Montgomery branch. Okay. Okay. Now there's a liquefied LPG dealer, and he has a lot of tank car traffic into town. That's in the last 5 years. The old administration building. Later it was called Brookmay. They made coats there. And Lehigh houses, bungalows, whatever they're called. They were torn down recently for the airport. More of the same. On the left side, you'll see the ash pit for the steam locomotives. Dump their ashes there. And the big building on the right side was the maintenance. Now, this is in the mid-70s, and they had Venetian blind doors on the roundhouse. I saw one at the museum. That was cool. I don't think I've seen that otherwise anywhere else. Go ahead. And this platform just kind of withered away. They never tore it down. It just kind of collapsed. Have Central New England passenger equipment. These guys are the Pettys, Pettys, and there were three brothers that worked as conductors for the Central New England. This is way before 1920. That's them again. There's a happy fellow, Arnie Blake, and he retired in 1968. These fellows, one's got a Johnson bar, the guy on the right, and the fellow on the left looks like he's got a bowling bar, bowling a boxcar. That's the old roundhouse again. The Maybrook Depot is been moved over to Jewel Street, and somebody lives in it now. On the right side is the maintenance, the machine shop. It's still there, by the way. On the left is the coal tipple. And the big stacks are for the power plant on the right side. Good. We've seen all this before. That's the ONW in town.
Sorry.
And you can see up on the right is the eastbound hub. Go ahead. Campbell Hall. On the left side here, you can see the runaround track that the New York Central would use. Okay. And RS3, 1600 horsepower. It would haul anything you'd hook up to it. Go ahead. RS11, 1800 horsepower. Alco, A and B units, FA and FB. And they're around at Campbell Hall. Go ahead. And this is a map of the LNE. And basically, you would use trackage rights, and they'd hook up with the Erie at Pine Island. They ran till 1961. That's the New York Central going through Campbell Hall into Maybrook. The LMHR got new Century Series units in 1963. And those the RS3s.
Wow. That's pretty amazing.
They had big steam equipment, and they also had an interchange with the O&W, and they had right away because they had a big hill they had to go up. That's the Century Series units in Warwick. The LNHR was an amazing little railroad, and they hustled more than anyone. The Erie, F3, Berkshire. That's a great picture. One of the beefers getting iced up, and beautiful springtime picture.
Okay. Oh, oops. I'm jumping.
And
Sorry, Joe. I'm jumping ahead. Okay. Yeah.
they had about 9 or 10 trains a day through the 40s and into the 50s. And things started slowing down in the 50s. And they had like 6 trains a day when they were taken over by Penn Central. And Penn Central had no desire to run the Maybrook line or the Poughkeepsie Bridge. They wanted everything to go through Selkirk, and they do everything humanly possible to basically screw it up. Shippers would go somewhere else, and they drove away a lot of business. And unfortunately, it didn't stop there. They started torching buildings because they didn't want to pay tax. They torched the YMCA and some buildings in Danbury. So it's really shouldn't have done that. What they did at Maybrook is they laid off all the maintenance workers that worked on the bridge, and they went a winter and didn't put water in the barrels in case you had a fire, or hook up the hose. The hose was the line was broken. So they knew that there'd be a fire. It was just a matter of time. And in May 8th, 1974, there was a fire. And unfortunately, that was the end of the yard. So everything went through Selkirk, and that's the end of the story, I guess. What we're hoping to do is use the yellow freight facility, which has been abandoned. They didn't pay their taxes and they went bankrupt. And set up an intermodal facility there. The Susquehanna's doing that in Warwick, and it would work out. That's where we are right now. These are the different routings to Maybrook, and which one's the ONW? Is it blue thing? That's the
The
ONW.
ONW is the purple one, the light purple. I think this is the ONW.
There are a lot of ways to get there.
New York, NYONW here. That's the ONW.
Okay, the brown thing.
Yeah, brown. Okay. Next, you want to explain about how the Central
That's
State-
the Central States Dispatch. And it just shows when people are working together, they can achieve a lot. Okay. That's good. Later, that was replaced with the alphabet route. And mainly because all the roads had all these different letters, you know. It was like everything in the alphabet. So the funny thing is the different roads would start naming their freight Alpha Jets. You know, there's Alpha Jet 1 and Alpha Jet 2 in the 1960s. Okay. And this is before all the consolidation. It's interesting to see what the Wabash was at one time. Okay. Bill Goff and his brother Al Goff. I spoke to Bill the other day. And the barrel that wasn't replenished, and I was standing on the gauntlet track, and that's where two tracks right here, two tracks went into one. So they were like 6 inches apart. Go ahead. This is a picture of Maybrook in 1948, right January 1st. And they had a 3-foot blizzard at Christmas, and it went down to 30 below zero. And Tony Morano was saying no matter what he did, he couldn't perform. Go ahead. Another picture. Using a Jordan spreader to push the snow away. Go ahead. That's from the ice house. Go ahead. And fellows clearing switches. Clearing the snow out. That's a Jordan spreader. It's got wings. It pushes all the snow out on both sides. Really does a great job. That's the administration building in 2017. And still there. He could build some, put a roof on it and make something out of it. Good. I got information from Carlton Maybe, Bridging the Hudson, and also the Maybrook Gateway by Peter Brill. I'd like to thank you all for showing up, and hope to see you over in Maybrook sometime.
Okay, if you guys are all still awake, there is a book that you can pick up at the library, The Birth and Death of the Maybrook Switching Terminal. It's a very concise reading about Maybrook. And you just write out the check to Maybrook Railroad Historical Society at 111 Ships Lane, Maybrook, and send a check of $6. And make sure you put down your return address and where you want to send it to. And Maybrook Railroad Museum, a little bit about the museum. When did it start? It was first started by a group of retired employees and was chartered on February 17, 1989. Our first location was at the Bullis Library before it was moved to our current location right now. Where are we located? At the Village of Maybrook building. It used to be part of the YMCA gym building here. So you can see we are right here. If you pull onto the parking lot, there is like a ramp going out, and that's where we are. And every time we will also ask, what is your hours? Well, we are open from April to October, weekends only, from 1 to 4. If you want to come over to do some research or check something out, you can always call Bob first. You can become a member, you can sign up. The most important is help volunteer open the museum or just donate. We need somebody to help volunteer. We also need somebody, to help narrate. If we can spend some time, like in my case, I can do more research and help Joe, we can put up more meaningful show. And for email or question, you can email to Diane. Diane happened to be with us today. It's dsandboty@hvc.rr.com. Again, for donations, for those of you who probably can't come and volunteer or help, you can always send your check for donation. You can follow us on Facebook at Maybrook Railroad Museum Group. So what are we planning to do when we open? For spring 2024 museum, we plan to do an open house. So stay tuned what we are trying to do. And this is a great opportunity to meet and greet members, volunteers, and also railroad enthusiasts, and probably just swap story. At this point, I'm going to stop the sharing. And I'm going to stop on the recording.